Hi there, Virgo. I'm Joy with Joy to the World, here to check in, do a little intuitive reading, and see how you're doing. First of all, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I did a pre-shuffle and a little pre-read to see what's going on with your energy, and a big spiel came out. So there's a lot of stuff apparently going on. It was kind of running along two lines between love and money, and very practical for an earthy sign. And I could see hints of an uncertainty and trepidation about possibly feeling foolish. And the message behind this is literally keep going, press through, and you will press through that energy, and you will come to what it is you are seeking and what you're believing for. It ended up at the Ten of Coins, in love, interestingly enough, and at the Nine of Cups in your Queen of Pentacles side. Okay? But here in the center, I retained this card that came out. Door to Spirit. All right, so we're going to see what the Spirit has to say and fly on in here. We do have this energy going on. You definitely got someone watching you here. It's kind of like beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but don't let anybody relegate you to commonplace. And it's not that this person's doing that. It's you're more than meets the eye, and I want you to know that. You keep a lot inside, and anyways, we'll stop there. I won't put a bunch of words to it, but in reality, you're revolutionary. You're revolutionary. This here, you have the ship out of water, just like Cancer had a fish out of water, and the birds of spirit. You have this whole entourage coming along to get you to where you're going. And the irony is it's almost going too slow for you, which is also what came out in that the pre-shuffle of the cards. Is it's like, this is too slow for me. I'm ready to get a move on. I'm going to dive in and fly. You're trying to bring your world in, and it's like, I'm trying to get ahead of myself. That's very Leo too. So it's interesting that the current, well, that's like this right here. See that? The current that's moving along through the zodiac right now, through Cancer and Leo. Leo is getting ahead of themselves, and Cancer was the fish out of water. And here, that ship, that boat, it's full of life, and you're bringing in your world, your mindset of the way you see life. And that's why you have this entourage of these amazing spiritual birds helping bring it in. But you need to stay with the pack, should we say, with your guides and your helpers. They're illuminating your path and leading your way. Yes, the sun is rising. Yes, light is emerging. Yes, you're here to catch the world on fire with passion, with joy, with the revolutionary way you love and share your love with this world, what you have to bring in and the way you see things. But stay with the ship. Don't step off here, okay? I know it seems like it'd feel good, but it would pretty much, from what I see, basically be a Buzz Lightyear, falling with style. And no need to fall, no need to rush it. Things are coming in quite quickly, and I would say they're going to move it along, but they're moving at the proper pace for what they're allowed to do. But I had this energy card come out also, and it's speaking of winds of change. And in this sense, it's not like things are going to turn. These winds of change, because you've made this, you set this intent, you're on this path, you're going forward, you're being revolutionary, you're stepping into it, but still feeling restrained. Well, not only are your spiritual guides and your intuition carrying you, life, the force of life itself is coming along behind you to put the wind in your sail, to move you along more quickly. So don't step off the platform yet. Don't fall with style, please. Let's just wait and see what's going to come out here, okay? We're going to start with these guys. This is Tarot of the Spirit. Let's get a little advice, some insight of what's coming in for Virgo. Just one more card for Virgo. Hey. One. There is something here that wants to be seen. Okay, we got to piggyback. But you're the piggyback, so let's let you out. And we've got an automatic clarifier. I love that my cards do that sometimes. It's pretty interesting. And it's like, in case you're wondering, and so you don't have to ask, we're already letting you know. We're going to take it up the middle here. Under Door to Spirit, we have Three of Wind, the Three of Swords. Recognition. Okay, this is about you being illumined, rising up out of this contraption you've been locked inside of. And this contraption, they're saying, is your heart. You've been locked inside this contraption. And that contraption is your heart. If you didn't know, Virgo. We've got... They're going to light your way. And that goes along with this card. But Door to Spirit, they're lighting your path into a whole new world. We're obvious of that because your world is coming with you, but it's even beyond that. It's as if you've never known anything but darkness, difficulty. Not that your heart is that way, but that's why it's a contraption. It was the trap, what you were hemmed into, pinned into. It was devoid of light. It's almost like a black hole, except it's not round. It's a triangle. It was an illusion of sorts. It's like your birthright, I'm seeing here, was sold out to the underworld, and you had to fulfill, how do you say it, someone else's punishment. For some of you, that could ring along the lines of generational curses. Some of you might resonate calling it karma, paying off other people's debts physically, literally, carrying the burden of other people, having someone live vicariously through you. But you're going to gain permission to self here, is what I see. So that Three of Swords in your heart, it's now going to be your own heart. And it's like, shoo, shoo, shoo. Get those swords out of here. I'm ready to emerge. I'm ready to step into the light. I love it because these swords are like candles. And they're almost like birthday candles, like happy birthday to you. It's time for you to be born into the light, to come up and breathe the fresh air, to share yourself and to imbibe in the life that is around you. And it's hinting even at like a Three of Cups, like a celebration, to join in the celebration of life with others. Okay? Let's see it under the watcher here, the eye that's watching you. We have the Wheel of Fortune. And what I want you to know is you're perfect. You're perfect exactly the way you are. In a sense, you sort of do have two sides to you, in that you're a unique, you're a fusion, you're a blend. Without losing either part, I feel like that would hint to your zodiac sun. Look at another sign or another house other than your sun, where you have multiple planets, where you have planets incredibly close together, where you have a power planet, maybe like Jupiter. And you'll see and study up on that sign a little bit. Find out what it is and how dynamic its nature is in comparison to your sun sign. You may have more than one. because there are several images going on in this card. It's almost like wanting to get to know the fullness of yourself, the facets of yourself, like understanding all of you. I'll get into more of that later in future videos, but how, not that we have to watch this many readings on our sign, but doing a little understanding of those facets of yourself so that you know how to, in a good way, take advantage of yourself, leverage yourself, utilize yourself in your best light and to your best benefit through the eye of wisdom. But here, interestingly enough, it's hinting at the Hierophant. It's hinting at a wild ride that you had in that long commitment. And it could just go back to this. Maybe some of you did have like a really bad doom and gloom marriage. I hope you're free if that was the case. It could have been the house you grew up in. But the Hierophant, kind of that a formula, the thing you had to follow. Maybe it was the type of school you were in, but you filled in and kind of became that form. You're very, very formal. But that will work to your advantage in the sense that you can be higher up, more ready for promotion. You're able to handle difficult situations with tact and with grace, which I appreciate that and I applaud you. Yay, we need people like that. But your mind is magnificent. And we'll get to that over here. It's there for eyes that see, right? But this is just reiterating you're perfect just the way you are. Don't let people pin you in and play you up as to like a single facet. That, in a sense, puts you at a disadvantage. It pigeonholes you. There we go. And it's almost like the facets of who you are like a set of eyes. And they work together, just like in insects, they have all those facets to their eyes. It creates an intensity and a bigger picture, a greater scope of what's going on around you. So that's what I'm hearing here, is don't be pigeonholed. It puts you at a disadvantage to where you can fall prey to energies kind of like this. Not saying this is going to happen again, and no way triggering anything like that, because you're just so happy to be free. And if you're not yet, that's what's coming. Let Spirit breathe life into you and guide you. And use all of your energies. You're so expansive in each chakra that's how you would get pigeonholed. You could kind of get sucked dry in certain ones, which then can cause you ailments, fatigue, emotional distress, different things like that, when really they're expressing in this card that they want to synergize you. You see the central channel, the energy, it's like as the wheel spins, it's like those tops when we're kids that you depress and depress and depress the top, and then it begins to spin and take off in its own energy. That's what they're saying, is they want you to be rainbow bright. Okay, rainbow bright. That part of what makes you you is the full spectrum. Well, that leaves you and your guides and spirit something to travel through, because that's a bit of a mystery. I get what it's saying, but I hope you do too. And now we're going to come over here. We'll save the piggyback card for in a minute, and I'm going to refresh you on what we have going on. This is your revolutionary self. I love it. Your big boss self. That kind of in a sense, it says you take life by the horns. Being a visionary, you jump on it. You're ahead of your times. And they said, because you're ahead of your time, do not get ahead of yourself, because the energy of it can almost carry itself, and that's what they're wanting you to stay with. But this is the card that came out with it. We have the Empress over here, which makes perfect sense because she's a master manifester. Because of all the energies, she reproduces within herself and of herself and from her own dynamic. And that's what they were talking about over here in the Wheel of Fortune is Rainbow Bright, right? To not be pigeonholed into one of your facets. If you start finding that you find yourself in situations or around certain people or personalities that want to work your Queen of Swords or your Queen of Cups, that start taxing a particular facet of yourself, and you find that you often have to go into that role around them, that's not for you. Okay, so you are progressing here. You're elevated, you're progressing, the light is coming. But it's almost like I'm here to give you permission, right, to be your full dynamic self. That's what they're saying with the Empress is for you specifically, Virgo. They don't want you being pigeonholed into one of the four queens, being brought out of the fullness of your energy, because then it breaks you down and diminishes you and can lead to sickness, fatigue, frustration. It throws you out of sorts, out of whack even. So that's for those of you who are getting lots of chiropractic adjustments. This is what's going on. They're wanting you to stay in your full glory, in your full self. Do not separate yourself from yourself. And here is why. Let's see. So it's the Resurrection card. It's number 20. Interesting. I didn't even look ahead when I'm over here looking at the wheel. That's your whole rainbow bright self. Because as we know in a prism, that the white light contains all the colors. And as it gets bent, it breaks out into the different expressions of itself. But they want you to be the white light, to be the whole spectrum, the full range, the whole self. But to me, this is also, the Judgment card, the Resurrection. And some of my guides have been talking to me about the final resurrection, that this is for those of you who have been through the Phoenix moment over and over and over again. And that's not something that happens quickly. It's not like just getting mad and cutting somebody off. No, it's finding yourself down in the dumps, down the dirt, going, how'd I get here again? Let me pick myself up. Let me move forward. Because that is actually what was going on in the spread that I put out ahead of time over here, was that Fool, that you were concerned what it was going to lead to. And ultimately, pressing through one more layer, it led you to the Nine of Cups. It led you to personal satisfaction. And that Nine of Cups doesn't, to me, always mean just by yourself or on your own. Excuse me. It's like having everything you need. So it's really not about by yourself or with another person or anything like that. It's kind of Empress-like in the sense, or like they're saying here, the full spectrum self going on, and that brings in the balance that you need. And here it does demonstrate a union down here that gives you the stability that your life requires. We're all built for different things. And the reading that was coming out ahead of time was hinting at that relationship and the love and money kind of going together, that you had the Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands out, and it led to that ultimate success. So in this case, like the bigger overview of this card here is not just with the lover, but also in relationships like coworkers, the boss, that type of thing. Is any dynamic of bond, of commitment and connection that you find yourself in. They're highlighting the word commitment. If you find yourself being pigeonholed to only one of the queens, that's a sign that you're not where you're supposed to be. Or maybe that a discussion needs to be had with whoever is the other part of the commitment. Because look at these lilies. Your mind is shrouded in peace, and you see the Great Spirit up above you. You have everything right there, and if information is what helps that move forward, and they're just not aware of what all you're capable of, that will prove to be a good thing. And if not, it takes you on to quickly, they're saying, to where you should be. This place of harmony, this place of being seen, being known. I'm seeing a reiteration of this here. You see, but you've come out. You're no longer trapped in there. Okay. So, I want to get one of these first. And check the bottom of the deck here. Underneath we have the Hermit. And this one, you're coming up out of the grave. That's what I'm hearing. And that's leading to this final resurrection. The permission, not that you need my permission, but just me empowering you, giving you the knowledge to give yourself permission to not be confined like that again. Okay? That it is the age you find yourself at now, it does not play well and bode well anymore with yourself nor with your guides. We're going to get a card for you to see what's coming out of the mystery. I think I want one more, because that's you guys. It's Earth. Let's get one more card for Virgo. Okay. Good. No, it's not coming. The Sweat Lodge. Okay, so you've got some stuff buried deep inside of you that needs to come up and out. Don't be ashamed. Don't be worried. It's like it's awakening the eye of the dragon. It's awakening the purpose of what you were born for, what you were here for, your innate purpose. It even goes beyond work. It goes beyond love. It is the awakening of yourself. Yourself had to be stymied and pushed down here. And sometimes when we come out of these things, we think our whole self has come out, but that's what they're letting us know here is that's not naturally what has happened or may be happening. You need to be aware that your whole self needs to come out, body, mind, and soul. Okay, to let that come up to the surface. It's like your laugh, your contribution, the freedom to speak, that others want to hear you, to contribute. You have you yourself as a person have a beautiful perspective to contribute, a beautiful life to share with those around you. Okay. I'm going to get a couple of these of the Light Seers Tarot to come along. Give us a little insight into the Sweat Lodge. Yeah. Okay. Bust that on out. It's the Six of Cups and the Ten of Cups. Well, I mean, what do you say? Your Earth. Your love runs deep. It's like love has been put on hold for you because of that imprisonment, because of that being confined. You were not allowed to have your own life. It was almost like you couldn't. You were bound to something else. You were living a life that was not your own. Now your life is your own. Now your life is your own. Okay? And now that it is under the wheel, which is your full expression of yourself rising up, and under the Empress, we have the Six of Cups, under the wheel, the Ten of Cups. And again, look at this rainbow formation totally going on here. Shine on, Rainbow Bright. It's The love that you have to share is for the whole world. The bowls that come here, or the cups, it's not just about them being full. It's about awakening the knowledge of fullness, of full spectrum, of what living life boldly and brightly and out loud is about. That's what, if you drop down the description, you'll see that's what my driving force is behind putting myself in front of this lens, is for our world to wake up and be bold and bright and beautiful and uniquely you. You are exactly who you should be. You are perfect in every way. And you're the you we've been looking for. Your life lives with such freedom and revolution and creativity. I bet you have some powerful Mars and Uranus, that it inspires others and it creates tight bonds. There's that loyalty. Because you've been through the grinder, you've been through these tough situations, you wouldn't wish that on another. And therefore you have a tremendous compassion that it's like it changes and charges the air around you wherever you go, and you make fast friends. And if you haven't before, I'm telling you now, you do, okay? And that's the way you were made. That's the way you've always been. That's the way you always will be. It's innately you. It's your power. You have the power to bring people together. You have the power to make events interesting. You're a great hostess, facilitator, but in that also join the party, all right? Your laughter, your stories that you tell, just kind of even the ease of your grace and your demeanor. Okay. All right, there they are. Woohoo! They heard party, they heard fun, and they jumped right on out. Okay, we've got two ladies here. Look at them. This one is under your wheel in the Ten of Cups. And this one is under your Empress and your Six of Cups. And it's also connecting with your sweat lodge that you have going on here. Kind of that dragon's eye, that soul awakening coming forth. And it's called Weaving Flowers and Protective Nest. Now, weaving flowers is about the above and the below. It's about, and anybody who's lived through something like this, especially for an extended period of time, which I am feeling and discerning that you have, is kind of given the gift and the right to bring down heaven on earth. Okay, which is also what we see here. Bringing it down, because in a sense, the only way to survive and come out to thrive from something like this is, and this is not your traditional Three of Swords. This is like, has been a long-term suffering and repression going on of rights having been taken from you. So the only way a soul survives that can come through pain, darkness, suffering, and not inflicted on others, is to awaken the magic, to awaken the love that you yourself aren't given, but the love that you very much need. And that is the magic that it creates. That is that rainbow bright that the Wheel of Fortune is telling us about here, and what these cards are alluding to. That's the magic that you bring, the power of self, the creating of a whole new world, the land that you would dream of, and the same freedom and rights that you would wish for others as well. That's why they don't want you being fragmented or pigeonholed, is who you are developed in the darkness. Kind of like the old-fashioned photographs, right? The image, that one blink in time, that creation, that baby that was born, taken into the darkness and the development that goes on there. And it brings forth this image, develops the colors and the clarity, and out comes you. Your mind is very fertile. That's how you made it through. You used your mind to keep pure thoughts, and don't get hung up on purity. Pure thoughts is you didn't let your mind get taken down by this, okay? You didn't let this become your crown. You didn't let this be your identity. You thought it was your imagination, but in truth, your identity was still developing, even in that sequestering, even in that confinement, in that darkness, even in that bondage that you were in. It's like your heart is so musical and magical that those petals that come down from heaven are almost like seeds that when they hit the earth, profusions of flowers, wildflowers just take off from them. They often, I don't even see them having to break the soil. It's all they have to do is kiss the face of the earth. And the bounty springs forth. Look at that. And it's congruent with your mindset. Wow. I'm honored. I'm stoked to see you guys. This is fantastic. I hope you know how awesome and amazing you are. And that you feel your song stirring inside of you even right now. That the blessings of the beauty of your mind, the power of your mind, the purity of your thought, the honor, integrity that you've walked in, the strength, character, and courage to believe in a better way and a better day despite the circumstances and situations you found yourself in, mentally, spiritually, physically. And to allow yourself to be brought through like this, word up. I could see why you'd want to just step off and follow a style. You're like, I've fallen before, it's no big deal. I'm ready to get there. I'm ready to take the world by storm, to taste all of life because I've been closed in for so long. But let me tell you, bright, beautiful one, you amazing, courageous warrior, the world outside is ready to taste the life that you bring. That's what you're doing here. Your zest and zeal and hunger and passion for life is so charismatic and catalytic and kinetic. It has its own buzz, its own charge to it. That's enough about how awesome you are. It's very tactile. I can feel it around me even right now. I can feel it pressing its way in. And y'all feel free to write in, comment about what starts happening in your life as you become aware of who you really are and how you're really made. So underneath the Six of Cups, we have protective nest. You got a lot on your mind. You've got a lot on your mind. Don't worry, that is your magnificence. It is your beauty. And if you're a guy tuning in, beauty is not just about like this soft feminine thing. Beauty is really, it would be like if our genes were able to display the fullness of their splendor, like, you know, our health and our well-being and our character. But this is your mind being beautiful like that. It's like those pure thoughts over here, being true to yourself. And you have the Trinity in there. You have your mind, body, and soul. You take it all into consideration. You're very thoughtful before you act. You're thoughtful with your manner and your demeanor. You're thoughtful about others. And you're also wise. I see your wisdom here. Is you don't thrust who you are to the forefront. You're quiet and calm in that you know who you are and what you bring. You see this egg hidden here? It's there for those who are ready to notice it and to see, like a boss or a friend or whomever, that it's ready to emerge and come forward. But you're kind of letting life incubate it and take care of it for you. You're not you're not rushing that. That's for sure. That's for sure. No cracked eggs here. And I would say that's the only caveat, but you're already aware of it. I see your composure. I see that you're strong in your standing. But you are ready to be seen and heard and known for who and what you are, and what you're here for. And you're ready to fly. You're ready to fly. It's like you've been tethered down under, well, as we know, an excessive amount of responsibility when you've been through this type of thing. That's burdensome and cumbersome. And your soul's so ready to be free of it all, stripped down to the bare truth of who you are, and nothing else. But that's what makes you rainbow bright. That's what makes you pure and magnificent. That's what makes you powerful and kinetic, in the sense that just your being coming into a place fertilizes it. It like shakes and awakens people's souls and stirs that matter within them that activates the life force inside. So, this was fantastic. I appreciate you, Virgo. Thank you for showing yourself to me and sharing yourself with me. It's a privilege and an honor to walk through this story with you and share perspective and insight, and to intuit some wisdom, some road signs for you to walk by in your journey. And that's it for now. This is Joy with Joy of the World, saying I love you and believe in you. Be your bold, bright, rainbow bright, fantastic, amazing self, you renegade, you revolutionary.